was by the serial number of the gun. So we dutifully went to the police station and we registered our guns. Not long after, they said, no, it didn't help. The only way that we don't have accidents and crimes, you bring the guns to the police station and then we don't have any crimes anymore and any accidents. And if you don't do that, capital punishment. So that's what we did. So dictatorship didn't happen overnight. It took 5 years, gradually, little by little, to escalate up to a dictatorship. When the people fear the government, that's tyranny. But when the government fears the people, that's you. That's liberty. Keep your guns. Keep your guns and buy more guns.
Are you tired of all the crap that's being played here on Spreaker?
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy.
Living on love, buying on time. Icebox where fun used to be.
Then check out Night of the Fucking Rock with your host, DJ Norris.
What's up, folks? It's your boy Dino, and if you want to rock out, this is the show for you.
Every Saturday at 6 p.m. here on Spreaker.com.
Are you sick of the same old boring talk shows? Looking for more variety? Come check out That Radio Show.
What radio show?
It's That Radio Show. The hottest talk show on the web that lets you, the listener, call in and voice your opinion. For the latest news headlines, controversial subjects, and more, come join us every Friday and Saturday at 10 p.m., 9 p.m. Central, right here on Spreaker.com.
Talk radio will never be the same.
This is Reverend Lohnes Pierce from the Views Express. Come join me Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker.com.
Okay, welcome back, everyone, to The Resistance. Nick Larson here with you on this Wednesday, June 5th, 2013. If you're just joining us, we did have plans to have a special guest, my special guest Kevin, on tonight. However, due to circumstances beyond my control and his as well, he will not be on this evening. Now, if there's any updates to this, I'll let you know as they come to me. But the phone lines, the Skype lines are open for any of you that want to call in, voice your opinion. It's the call-in number is 507-216-7672. Again, 507-216-7672. The Skype ID is the.resistance1775. Again, the.resistance1775. So, now we've been talking about Obama. Obviously, we can't complain enough about Obama, right? It's kind of like Bush. You can never say too many jokes about him. But with Obama, you can complain all day long and never get sick of it. Now, we talked about how Obama in his 2008 campaign for presidency actually campaigned stated that his administration would be a transparent administration, kind of like the John F. Kennedy administration. Well, obviously, we know that's a lie. And the birth certificate. Now, I know it's a forged document. Many of you know that's a forged document, but we're trying to get the Supreme Court to see that, or at least just hear that it's a forged document. Sheriff Joe Arpaio in Arizona conducting an independent investigation, finding 7 to 9 layers of the birth certificate of Obama's birth certificate, and basically, everyone's calling for the impeachment of Obama, and really, no, we need to just anyway, we got a caller calling in here. So let's take this call. Hi, you're on the Resistance.
Hey there.
Hello, who is this?
This is Bob Rob.
Hey, Dob Rob, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
That's
Just
good.
wanted to get in there and share some time with Nick and kick around a few ideas and things.
Okay. Yeah. And now you are you actually are associated, or you run the group United by Zip, correct?
Unite by Zip.
Unite by Zip. Sorry.
Unite by Zip. I came up with that idea back in February. I'm in New York State, and one of the things that got me started is our good old governor, Mr. Cuomo, with trying to beat Obama to the gun grab with his new ultra-modern laws for the Save the Children. And that not only got a lot of people in New York State up-riled and got me up-riled, but yeah, I've attended a couple of rally protests. And one of the things I did was jump on Facebook and start following people's posts and comments and all the different groups that were starting up. And one of the things I noticed was that there's so many people that have the same or share the same anguish against what's going on, not just with New York State government, but with our federal government. Mm-hmm. One of the things I noticed that was outstanding is, you look at Facebook, great media outlet. It has something like over 500 million subscribers or participants on Facebook.
Right.
We go on Facebook, we get in these groups, we get into posts, we comment on it, but nobody knows who they're really talking to. You see a little tiny half-inch square picture with a name next to it, whether it's a real name, a fictitious name, or whatever. So I came up with the idea of how to get people united, because I can basically foresee what is going to be coming to our country. And I think most people, or millions of Americans, actually see what's coming. We've seen it for years, and we're seeing it at an accelerated rate now.
Right.
So how do we go about getting people united where we stand united and we back one another, not just as individuals in a country, but as individuals in a state and individuals in a particular city, town, or village, okay? And I came up with Unite by Zip. Everybody's got a zip code in this country, right? So that's been one of my pushes. And I'm also friends with Kevin.
Okay.
And we've kicked ideas around for a couple of months now on where things have been in the past. And I'm old enough where I can honestly go back and say I've seen the changes start in the mid-'70s on how the country has been destroyed. I can honestly say that it came about because of our greedy politicians. And it started with the Free Trade Acts. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and this used to be a city that was built on industry. And when they started the Free Trade Acts, and I've learned over the years that this is actually part of the, more or less, whether people want to understand it or agree with it, New World Order or UN agendas. This is the group of rich and elite that said, we need to spread the wealth. We can't have one country like the United States being the richest and most powerful in the world. So with the Free Trade Acts, industry started to pull out of America. Right. And our country has ever since the mid-'70s gone downhill. We not only lost jobs, we lost tax revenue because people are not working. Mm-hmm. Countries like China have become not only the richest, one of the richest nations in the world, but they are one of the most productive. Look at Walmart. How did Walmart come about and spring up to a powerful corporation?
I was going to say, don't get me started on Walmart.
Well, yeah, but all these things have come about since the mid-'70s.
Right.
And the only people that have actually gained from this are the rich and the elite.
Right. Now, and I know you said that originally you're from Buffalo, New York, which I know is, is a big port town because it's right on one of the right. It's right on the Great Lake. Right.
Right.
Is it Erie or Ontario or
Lake Erie?
Lake Erie. Okay. Well, and which is something you and I actually have somewhat in common because I'm here in Minnesota. I border Lake Superior. And for those of you that don't know your geography or how important the Great Lakes are, I mean, that is, you wouldn't believe how much transportation of goods goes through the Great Lakes by barges. And I mean, the Edmund Fitzgerald, I mean, hey, that it sunk in Lake Michigan. I mean, a great song was written by it. But, a lot of our goods, manufactured goods, were transported through the Great Lakes. And being Buffalo, New York, I'm sure back then in the 70s and before it was a very industrial town because they had that Great Lake port. Plus, you guys were you could go right out to the Atlantic, too. So you can go transnational transport if you wanted by sea.
Well, actually, it's Lake Erie on the west side, and then we have Lake Ontario to the north.
Right. Okay. Yeah, and all the Great Lakes are connected some way in shape or form or another. So, I mean, you can come in on the Atlantic, go through the Great Lakes, and you can end up in northern Minnesota if you want.
That's very true.
Yeah, which by the way, is great country up there. But so you say that this all started back in the 70s with the free trade agreement, which I completely agree with you. Granted, it's about 10 years before my time, but spreading the wealth around the world. I mean, really? I mean, to me that just sounds like the U.S. trying to be not only the police of the world, but human services of the world too. It's like, oh, you need money? Here you go.
Well, sure. Look at us today. I mean, right now we're somewhere around $17 trillion in debt,
and climbing.
We still hand out millions and billions of dollars worldwide. I mean, one of the recent posts I've seen is that we're doing a deal with Russia for like $700 million or $690 million to refurbish helicopters to send to Afghanistan. Now, how can we, as a broke nation or $17 trillion in debt, afford to do that?
Right.
Where's that money coming from? It comes from that printing factory, and it adds to our debt. At some point in time, the whole house of cards has got to crumble because there's not going to be anything that's going to support it. The more jobs that are lost in this country, the less revenue that's being created. I mean, that's part of our problem with our debt, and it's been happening for the last 30 and 40 years. That's why we have the debt we have. And our government doesn't seem, and this happens not only on a statewide basis, like New York State, or it goes all the way up to that federal, where they just go, well, we're just going to borrow some from here. A state goes broke. They go to the federal government. The federal government goes broke. They go to China and borrow money, or they go to Saudi Arabia or someplace and they're borrowing money. And it's like, how do they ever expect to pay us back?
Right.
You already pick up bits and pieces. I'm sure you scan the internet enough for, like you're talking about news. Don't trust one media source. You have to have an open mind and go through the various channels of media and interpret the things for yourself and actually find what is a fact. And obviously, some things come out to be outstanding and shared amongst other, media forms, whether it's an IRS scandal or it's about the EPA scandal or it's about Fast and Furious or Benghazi. That's all stuff that people have to decipher for themselves. And when you see it shared in different areas and different forms of media, you can kind of put pieces together. And, anybody that has an open mind and goes back and looks over the years and looks at our country, our debt, and where we are today, they can easily understand it. It's a point of having open eyes and an open mind and saying, okay, it's like connect the dots. That's exactly what it is, connect the dots.
Right.
Unfortunately, today, it's like you were talking earlier about, why aren't they doing an impeachment on Obama? Well, because we have so much corruption within our government.